Hi guys, what's up? My name is Amanda and welcome to my channel. Today I am just going to tell you a completely pointless story time about why hail gives me anxiety. Yeah, it's pointless, it's gonna be dramatic, but it's also kind of funny. It hailed here today in Colorado and I could have cried while it was hailing. So I thought, you know what? I am just going to tell this completely stupid story time about what happened to me a year ago. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Go way back to, I don't even know how many years ago it was, probably 6 years ago, I purchased my baby. His name was Hercules, and he was a RAV4 silver, and he was perfect in every single way. I had two really crappy cars before this, an 87 Cutlass Sierra and I believe a 2000 Kia Rio. While I loved them both, they hold a special place in my heart. They do not hold a place in my heart like Hercules did, and this is sadly the tragic story of how Hercules died, and it's gonna be dramatic for absolutely no reason at all. But I loved that car, and it still breaks my heart a year later that he is gone. So, anyways, that is the story of Hercules. Now we're going to get into his death. So on his death day, I was at school. I had dropped a class that I found out I no longer need and hated, so I was getting out of class early, and my plan was to go straight home. Had I gone straight home, Hercules would still be with us today. But I did not go straight home. As I was leaving school, a friend of mine, I went to school about 45 minutes away from my house, to kind of put things in perspective. A friend of mine who lived about 10 minutes away from the school called and she's like, let's hang out. We're gonna call this friend Brittany. I'm not friends with her anymore. I don't feel like saying her name. It makes me very angry when I think about it. So we're gonna call, and it's not because of the car. That's not why we're not friends anymore. That's a whole other issue. So we'll call her Brittany. So Brittany calls. She says, hey, so-and-so's over at my house. I don't even remember who it was at this point. Come on over. Let's hang out for a couple hours. And I'm like, I really just wanted to go home. Like, I was so excited that I was out of school early. I just wanted to go home and spend time with Sean. Like, I just wanted to go home. But this girl was very persuasive. So I did end up going over to her house. While we're there, we're just hanging out, we're watching Jane the Virgin, which I'm sorry for anyone who's watching this and likes Jane the Virgin. I think it is the stupidest show ever. I was annoyed. I wanted to go home. She had talked me into coming over. Now we're watching Jane the Virgin. Whatever. So, about an hour into hanging out with her, we're all sitting around the couch watching this show, and out of nowhere, it gets, like, black outside. Like, you would have thought it was 10 p.m. and it was probably 2. Like, it was dark. And we're all like, hey, it's dark outside. Like, that's weird. And we kind of left it at that. And maybe 5 minutes later, my whole world was ruined. Literally in that short of time. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it wasn't even raining, hail starts pelting down on my beloved Hercules. Now, Brittany lives in an apartment complex, and where we were sitting in her living room, if we looked out her back door, which was right in front of my face, I could see my beloved Hercules sitting right there. Now, at this point, he's still a little too far away for me to tell, like, if there's damage, what's going on, and all I can think about is I need to get to my car, and I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to get to my car. I wanted to go home. I wanted to be in my car on my way home to cry to my boyfriend about what had just happened. And so probably 10 minutes passes. This hail is not letting up. I am getting more and more anxious. I am sitting there. I am freaking out. The other, Brittany and another friend of ours were sitting there like, dude, chill. It's just a car. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's not hailing that bad. It was hailing that bad. I'm not joking. The hail was probably this big when I got outside. Like, it was bad. But they're trying to calm me down. They were trying to be good friends at the time. They're like, it's fine, it's fine. Just wait till the hail passes. You can go look at your car. You can go home then. Like, it's fine. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, nothing is fine. So there finally becomes probably like 20 minutes after this hailstorm's been going, there's a brief, like, it starts to slow down. And as soon as it slows down, I text Sean and I said, I'm coming home now. Like, I am leaving this house and I am coming home right now. Still hailing though, like still big sized hail. And my bright ass has a box of Voodoo Donuts. I love Voodoo Donuts. Their sprinkled donuts are everything to me. If you do not live in a city that has Voodoo Donuts, you need to go to a city that has Voodoo Donuts and try these donuts. They're absolutely amazing. But so I have this big pink box, if you know what I'm talking about. It's a big pink box that they give you with these Voodoo Donuts. And I take this box and I say, I'm going to use this to cover my head. I'm going to my car and I am going home. All I wanted to do was be at home. So I take this box, I put it over my head, I run out to my car, and like I have to run around her, like her back door is right here, and I probably could have just ran there, but there's a big like ledge right here, so I was like, you know, I'm just going to go out the front door, I don't care, I'll run all the way around, it's fine. So I have to run all the way around her building to get to my car, and at this point I haven't passed any other cars. This is a street right here, so there's no cars on it, and then the parking lot's over here. So I leave her front door, I run around her car, I get to my car, and literally my heart drops. I get in my car, I get in Hercules, I start crying. I am crying. Like I'm getting emotional like talking about this. I am literally crying in my car. Like, what did I do to you? I am so sorry, baby. I should have gone home. Like, I should have listened to my gut. I am so sorry, Hercules. I'm talking to him. We've had hail damage before. We live in Colorado. It happens here. But this was to a whole new level. My windshield was completely spidered. I could barely see out of it. The dents in my car looked like someone just pelted rocks at him. I had betrayed my truest friend, Hercules, and I felt so bad. So at this point, I call Sean, I say, I don't know what to do. My car, like, I can barely see out the windshield. I have to go on the highway to get home. Like, I do not know what to do. And at this point, he's freaking out because his car is his baby. Like, his car is more important than me. And he's like, oh my gosh, is this hailstorm coming towards me? He's more panicked about his car than mine. Like, thanks. So he's no help at all. So I hang up with him and I call my dad. And my dad was like, if you feel like you can get home, come. My dad lives probably about 15 minutes away from my house. He goes, if you feel like you can, and mind you, by this point, it's probably 3-4 o'clock, and Denver rush hour is awful. It is the worst. I have had people from New York and from LA compare it to their rush hour. Like, it is awful. We're not a huge city, but we're pressed up against the mountains, so everyone lives so, like, compacted in this little area. And it is just awful. So anyway, I'm on the phone with my dad and he goes, just get to my house. We will assess the damage. It can't be that bad. It's just hail. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, Hercules is dead. Like, I can get to your house. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But he's dead. He's gonna be dead. So my bright ass, even though it's still hailing, like, hasn't stopped, was like, okay, gotta get to my dad's house. Like, this is what my dad thinks is a good idea. He doesn't realize how bad it is over here. Because it's sunshiny still at their house. The sun is out. Like, perfectly fine. He's like, it's fine, get here, it's not that bad. So, told you I live 45 minutes away. Rush hour traffic, it was probably gonna take me about an hour to get to my parents' house. Joke's on me! I have to drive on the highway to get home. People in Colorado don't know how to drive in the snow or the rain. I'm like, if you grew up here, and that's the issue, is most people didn't grow up here, so they didn't grow up with the snow and the rain, so they don't know how to drive in it. So it is like parking lot traffic on the highway. People are getting in car accidents left and right. You would think it was blizzarding outside. Like, that's how bad this traffic was. So I'm going along, I'm getting there fine, I'm just chugging along, crying to my, like, self in my car, listening to my country radio as they talk about how bad this hailstorm is on the radio. And I'm like, I know, I'm sitting in it right now. You don't even understand because you're not out here. And there's a bunch of overpasses that I'm passing, and there are so many people stopped underneath the overpasses because they don't want hail damage. And then there's me just, it's fine, my car's already got hail damage. My dad just wants me to get to his house, blah, blah, blah. Like, so bad. So I finally, 2 hours later, get to my dad's house. Still sunshiny over there, no hail. Sean freaked out for nothing. Like, it didn't even rain. 45 minutes away and it didn't even rain. I was so mad. Like, had I just gone home, like I said in the beginning, Hercules would still be here to this day. But he is not with us anymore, unfortunately. So I get to my dad's house, he comes outside, and he just, like, stops dead and looks at me, and he's like, you drove with your car like this. Hello, yes, I told you that this was how bad my car was. You're like, it's fine, it's just hail, come on. Like, yes, I listen to my father. I always listen to my father. I will always listen to my father. Like, he has some crazy ideas sometimes. I will always listen to my father. Yes, you told me to drive here. So after that, after the few minutes of, like, it sinking in how bad my car really is, we go inside, we call my insurance company. Of course, they're backed up, like, as backed up as they could be, because everybody's calling about their cars. And we get that all taken care of. It's like 2 weeks before they can get, like, my car, and I call it the car doctor, before they can get my car into the car doctor to even have him looked at. So we're like, okay, what can we do? Does this windshield, like, is it gonna shatter on me? We don't know. I drove it around for a couple days, and then I started feeling really, really not okay. So my mom, thank goodness, she only works a couple hours a week. She's pretty much retired, so she let me borrow her car. And she drives a Prius, you guys. Anytime something happens to my car, I end up borrowing her car, and I'm driving around in this Prius. And I know I drive a RAV4 and it's not that much better, but, like, a Prius. And it's her second Prius. Like, she loves her Priuses. They're great on gas mileage. Like, I get it. I get it. So we're at the car doctor, and I, like, check in on Facebook, and I'm like, please let them tell me Hercules will live. Like, not thinking anything of it. This was a year ago, so I was 24 years old. Like, I was just being a silly girl, like, please. And they write back, and they're like, don't worry. We're gonna take care of Hercules. I, like, leaned back, and I was like, the car doctor's gonna take care of Hercules. Everything is going to be okay. Everything was not okay. If you haven't figured this out by this point, everything was not okay. This car doctor gave me so much hope that my car was going to be okay, that they were gonna fix him, and I was gonna get to go home with Hercules. Let me pause here for a minute. Hercules and I have been through so much together. I got him a year after I graduated high school. He saw me through getting my CNA license. He saw me through boyfriends. He survived really ridiculous car accidents, which would make another really great story time if you want to hear about the time that I took the blame for my friend getting in a car accident. Yeah, that's another story time that my parents know nothing about, so we probably shouldn't make that one. Should probably cut this part out of that video. But if you want to see it, why not? I'll make it, because I don't even think my parents watch my channel. I have, like, 3 videos up, so they probably don't. But so me and this car have been through so much together. Like, I have cried in this car. This car, like, when I say this car is, like, my best friend, my world, my baby, that's because it is. It went through so much with me. So when the car doctor responds, don't worry, we're gonna take care of Hercules. Like, they didn't just say, we're gonna take care of your car. They called him by name. Okay? They respected him enough to call him by his name. I thought, I saw the light. He was gonna be okay. They were gonna perform some CPR. They were gonna pop some dents out. I was gonna get a new windshield. Everything was going to be okay. And then my insurance company calls a few days later, and they inform me that the damages cost more than the car is worth. And that Hercules is being totaled. That they would give me $10,000 for him. And that was that. And I cried. I literally cried. I thought 10,000, like I was literally like, you don't understand. This car is worth more than $10,000. You see a hunk of metal, I see my dreams. Mind you, I only had a year to pay him off. That was a big factor too. I had 1 year left. I would be done paying for Hercules had this not happened. Like, I would not be paying $400 and some a month had this not happened. Sorry, I'm really traumatic about it, but like 10,000, that's okay. So there's nothing I can do. We talked about buying back the car from the insurance company, but then we would still have to pay for the damages ourselves. They weren't going to cover it, and it was just not in the cards for us. We thought too about just fixing the windshield and keeping him as like a car in case someone's car breaks down, because my family always has a car breaking down, but just nothing really added up for us. So they didn't officially total him yet, and I was like, well, I need a new car. Like, I work 45 minutes away from my house, like I go to school far away from my house, like I love Hercules, but as much as I am mourning him, I have to go find a new car. And I start looking online at cars, and I found a Jeep that I really liked, and I was just like, how can I do this? Like, how can I replace Hercules? How can I replace those memories? Everything that happened in that car, like, I didn't live in my car. I had a house, but like, I lived in him. Like, my whole world, because everything I did was so far away, always. Like, when I had him, I was dating a kid that lived up in the mountains. That was like an hour-and-a-half drive. Like, I worked really far away from my house. I went to school really far away from my house. Like, everything I did was far distances. So I spent so much time in that car throughout the years that I had him. And at this point, I was just like, I felt like I was cheating on him. I felt like I had this child, and I was like, well, you're not good enough anymore, so now I gotta go find another one. Like, it felt awful. And I was just like, I can't do this. I got so overwhelmed. So the next day, my dad calls me, and he's like, hey, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but the Toyota where you bought Hercules from is having 0% interest on 2017 RAV4s. I didn't know what to do. I was like, can I replace my car with the exact same car? Is that fair? Is that keeping Hercules with me somehow? Is that just cheating on him altogether? Like, is that just, oh, well, now we just have a newer model, so but 0% interest on a brand new car. I couldn't pass it up. I'm a broke college student. Like, 0% interest, I couldn't pass it up. So I knew in my head, okay, insurance company is going to give me $10,000. There's a $1,000 deductible, so I'm going to get $9,000. I owed $6,000 on Hercules still, so I could pay that off, and I'd have $3,000 left over for a down payment for this new car. So I drive up to Toyota, and the guy at the service desk recognizes me. Like, Hercules was all decked out for a while. He had like zebra print license plate covers. We had pink camo seat covers. We had a fuzzy orange steering wheel. Like, bro was decked out. He was definitely gay, but that's okay. Mama, don't judge. And he comes up and he's like, hey, what are you doing here today? And I was just like, I have to buy a new car. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know what to do with my life. Like, I have to buy a new car today. And he's just like, this guy, for the past 5-6 years, this guy has like worked on my car. He's been the person I've gone to. Like, he's always hooked me up. Like, I don't know how like he ended up being the one, but he was the chosen one. And his face, like, I am like in tears pretty much, and his face is totally understanding. He is like, Amanda, it's okay. I know how much you loved Hercules. He's gonna go to a better place. We're gonna find you a new car. Now, he's not a salesman. He was like not a mechanic, but like he worked back there as like a desk person. I don't know. I don't really know what his job is there, but he's always there hooking a girl up. So whatever. So he finds me a salesman. He's like, this guy will get you a good car. So we're walking around, we're looking at all the cars, and I'm just like crushed. I look at some trucks, because when I bought Hercules, I originally wanted a truck. So I looked at some trucks, but I'm like, there's no way, like, I can't afford that. In my mind, I was like, I'm here at Toyota, but I want to look at things other than RAV4s. I don't know if I can do that to Hercules. I know the RAV4s are the 0% interest right now, but I need to at least look at some other cars. So I'm looking around. There's another car that Toyota like just launched in the past few years. My dad was like, look at how cool this is. And I was like, no. And then I see her. And I feel so guilty instantly. But I see this beautiful, beautiful, bright blue car. And I like slowly kind of look at her, and I look away, and I can feel her looking back at me, and I look at her again, and my dad catches me looking at her, and he goes, that's a really pretty color. I said, okay, let's go look at her. So we walk over there. She has a sunroof, which, correction, she has a moonroof. What's the difference? Hercules didn't have a moonroof. She has a backup cam. Hercules didn't have a backup cam. She's got these beautiful black seats. Hercules's were gray and always kind of looked dirty because of it. And I find myself, not even like, I'm literally just looking in the windows of this car. I haven't test driven any cars, like I've just kind of looked, and I find myself being like, this is it. This is the one. And I had this exact same moment 6 years ago when I bought Hercules. I wanted a truck. I was looking at trucks. I was test driving trucks left and right and left and right. And I come to Toyota and I see this beautiful silver car. And he spoke to me. And I test drove him and I bought him that day. And I knew that Hercules had sent me this beautiful blue car, this beautiful RAV4, as a way of saying, it's okay. You choose her like you chose me. I understand. You'll be okay. I'll be okay. So I test drive this car and I'm driving around and I'm falling in love with her and I'm feeling so guilty. And we come back to the car after I test drive. We come back to the dealership, and my dad and the guy are asking me what I want to do, and I'm like, it's too much. I'm like, I need a minute. I need to go to the bathroom. Sitting in the bathroom, literally peeing. Yeah, peeing. And it hits me. This is Dory, and this is your car, and you're gonna take her home, and it's going to be okay. So that day, I took Dory home. I got here. Sean came outside, patted me on the shoulder, and he said, it's okay. Hercules will understand, and Dory is now part of our family. My dad ended up, for some reason, he ended up getting Hercules, and Hercules was out in front of his car for in front of his house for a couple of days, and the day came when they were going to come and take Hercules away. And I went over to my parents' house. I spent an hour with him. We talked, and he told me it was okay, that he understood, that he knew I didn't do any of this to him on purpose. And a few hours later, they came and took him away. And he's in a better place now, I like to believe. And he understands that I didn't go to this friend's house to kill him. I shouldn't have gone, and he knows that. But he's in a better place. And he left me with Dory, and she is amazing. And yeah, that is the story of how, like, the reason why I am afraid of hail and I get anxiety every time it hails. Today I was taking a nap on my couch. This is kind of what started all of this. I was taking a nap on my couch with Lily, and she hops up all of a sudden, runs to the window, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And I just hear it. I hear the hail. And all of this trauma comes back and like lands on my shoulders, and I literally teared up. I called my dad and I was like, it's hailing. I don't know what to do. It's hailing. I can't look out the window with my car. I am distraught. And he goes, it's okay. It's only raining over here. We've heard that before. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. It's gonna be fine. Like, you're fine. Calm down. So it does, like, the hail does kind of die down really quickly, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, but I'm still way too scared to look outside. Like, my car was literally right in front of me, but the blinds were down, so I couldn't see her. But I still have not looked at her, to be honest. Like, I could look right outside this window right over here and see her, but I am too scared. Sean has come home and left, and he's like, trust me, she's fine, but I'm still too scared to look at her. But yeah, that is the story of how Hercules died and how Dory became a part of my life and how I feel like I betrayed him and I hurt him, but I also feel like he understands. He knows it wasn't on purpose. He knows there was no bad intent with it, and he's okay. So yeah, that's Hercules' life. Video that was entirely way more traumatic than I thought it would be, but that's who I am. I'm a drama queen. If you want to hear some more Hercules stories down below, like the time that someone else crashed him, or any other crazy stories, let me know. I've got a lot of them. My Hercules stories are probably the best. I also have quite a few stories about my Cutlass Sierra that are quite entertaining. Fortunately, my Kia Rio doesn't really have too many tragic stories. I was a senior in high school. Nothing really happened. I was bored. I wanted to get out. So yeah, if you want to hear any more stories, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button.